Most people believe self-worth is something you earn. You earn it by being successful. You earn it by being useful. You earn it by being admired, chosen, or needed. And when those things disappear, so does your sense of value. That is why so many people feel confident one day and empty the next. Because what they call self-worth was never theirs to begin with. It was borrowed from praise, from attention, from achievement, from people. And borrowed things are always unstable. The painful truth is this: most people don't suffer because they lack confidence. They suffer because their worth is conditional. They feel valuable only when they are performing well, only when they are liked, only when they are useful to someone else. And the moment they fail, disappoint, or slow down, they feel small, invisible, replaceable. This is not weakness. This is conditioning. From a young age, many of us were taught, without words, that love must be earned, that approval follows obedience, that mistakes reduce value, that being quiet, agreeable, or successful keeps us safe. Slowly, without realizing it, we learned a dangerous lesson. I am worthy when I meet expectations. So we adapted. We became people pleasers, overachievers, perfectionists, silent sufferers. We learned to hide parts of ourselves that might be rejected. We learned to shape ourselves into something acceptable. And in doing so, we lost touch with who we actually are. This is why self-worth feels fragile for so many people, because it is built on outcomes instead of identity. But here is the truth no one teaches you. Your worth was never meant to be earned. Worth is not a reward for good behavior. It is not payment for productivity. It is not a trophy for endurance. Worth is inherent. You were valuable before you achieved anything. You mattered before anyone noticed you. You had worth before you proved yourself. The world may not treat you that way, but reality does. When self-worth depends on external things, life becomes exhausting. You are always performing, always adjusting, always afraid of falling short. You overwork, not because you love growth, but because rest makes you feel guilty. You stay quiet, not because you agree, but because you fear disapproval. You tolerate disrespect, not because it's acceptable, but because you fear being alone. And deep inside, there is a constant tension. What if I'm not enough? That question never leaves until the foundation changes. True self-worth does not come from thinking highly of yourself. It comes from respecting yourself. Respect is different from confidence. Confidence rises and falls. Respect is steady. Self-respect means you don't abandon yourself to keep others comfortable. You don't violate your values for approval. You don't stay where you are repeatedly diminished. You can feel insecure and still have self-worth. You can fail and still respect yourself. You can be disliked and still be at peace. Because your worth is no longer being negotiated. Let me share a story. There was a woman who spent years trying to be good enough. Good enough for her family, good enough for her partner, good enough for society. She adjusted her tone, her behavior, her dreams. She believed patience meant silence. She believed sacrifice meant erasing herself. She believed endurance was proof of strength. On the outside, she was admired. On the inside, she was disappearing. Every decision passed through one question: will this make them accept me? Over time, she stopped knowing what she wanted. She felt guilty resting, anxious speaking up, ashamed of needing anything. One day, after years of emotional exhaustion, something shifted. Not anger, not rebellion, clarity. She realized that in trying to be worthy of everyone, she had become unworthy to herself. That realization hurt, but it also freed her. She didn't change overnight. She didn't become loud or aggressive. She simply stopped betraying herself. She spoke when something mattered. She rested without apology. She accepted that not everyone would approve and survived it. And slowly, something unfamiliar appeared. Peace, not because life became easier, but because she stopped measuring her value by others' reactions. That is where real self-worth begins. Self-worth is not loud confidence. It is quiet alignment. It is the ability to sit alone without feeling empty. This does not make you selfish. It makes you grounded. When self-worth is internal, relationships improve. Because you no longer cling. You no longer tolerate harm. You no longer seek validation through suffering. You choose connection, not dependency. You give love, not performance. Now let's talk about practical steps, because understanding alone is not enough. First, notice where your worth is currently coming from. Ask yourself honestly, when do I feel valuable? Is it after praise? After productivity? After being needed? Awareness is the first break in the pattern. Second, practice disappointing people in small ways on purpose. Say no when you normally say yes out of fear. Pause before explaining yourself. Let someone misunderstand you without rushing to fix it. Nothing terrible will happen, and your nervous system will learn that approval is not survival. Third, stop using harsh self-talk as motivation. You do not grow by humiliating yourself internally. You grow through clarity and consistency. Replace "I'm not enough" with "I am learning." Fourth, set one boundary that protects your energy. Not aggressively, not emotionally, simply calmly. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with rules. Finally, anchor your worth in principles, not outcomes. Ask yourself, did I act with integrity today? Not, was I praised today? Integrity builds self-worth quietly, but permanently. Here is the closing truth. If your worth depends on being accepted, you will always fear rejection. If your worth depends on achievement, you will never rest. But when your worth is rooted inside, life becomes lighter. You stop proving. You start living. You were never meant to earn your value. You were meant to live in alignment with it.